Hey guys, it's Kenny from Slurve.com. I'm here to go over my favorite cash game plays for the Players Championship this week. Before we get into that, let's recap what happened last week. My 4 favorite cash game plays last week were Rickie Fowler, J.B. Holmes, Charles Howell III, and Kevin Chappell. Three of the 4 made the cut. Fowler was in contention for the win until he faded late Sunday, finishing tied for 4th. He played well throughout the week. J.B. Holmes made the cut, but did not perform as well as I thought he would. He struggled from tee to green, but luckily his putter was good enough to get enough fantasy points through to the weekend. CH3 missing the cut was the big shocker. He actually had 10 birdies throughout the first 2 rounds, but he made too many mistakes to make the cut. He was okay from tee to green, and he lost strokes putting. He really couldn't make a putt. Luckily for if you did use him, a lot of people were on that same train of thought. He was well over 40% owned in the majority of cash games. So if you got the other guys through, it didn't really hurt you too bad. Lastly, Kevin Chappell. He made the cut based on his Thursday performance. He shot 67 on Thursday, but faded each day afterwards, finishing in a tie for 41st and getting around 60 DraftKings points. The best part of last week was the under 7,000 golfers that I told you to take a peek at, even though they weren't part of my main picks. I did go over a couple of them with you. I said Lucas Glover and Retief Goosen would make good cash game plays. I was only partly right because they made for great GPP plays as well. Goosen finished tied for 14th, and Lucas Glover finished in 8th place. So that was solid right there. So let's move on to the Players Championship. Great tournament, great course, elite field. It is a difficult course for DFS purposes. The reason why that is because there's really no type of golfer that you would look for. Usually, like if you play Augusta or if you play in the Masters week, you know you look for bombers. Other courses, you know you look specifically for guys who are accurate off the tee. There really is no type this week, which makes it very, very difficult. To give you an example, I'll go over some of the previous winners in this field in the last 11 years. There were big guys who won here in the last few years. Henrik Stenson, Sergio Garcia, Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods, Rickie Fowler, all of ones. You're like, wow, these big name, long guys can win. But then there's also winners here like Tim Clark, KJ Choi, Stephen Ames, and Fred Funk. Also, Paul Goydos has 2 top 3s here since 2008. So there's really no way to figure out which type of golfer to pick. And that makes it tough because it leaves the majority of the field open as viable options instead of being able to trim down the field a little bit. Also, another thing about this course that makes it hard for DFS purposes is the fact that there's so much trouble on the course. 1 or 2 big mistakes and you can just miss out on the cut just because of those 1 or 2 holes. For example, last year, Brooks Koepka, he missed the cut by 1. He had 2 back-to-back quadruple bogeys. So that means in his other 34 holes played, he was 7 strokes better than the cut line. It was just those 2 holes that really screwed him. Big name. This happens to big name guys at this course. Names like Jason Day, Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, Justin Rose, Phil Mickelson, Rickie Fowler have all missed cuts here recently. So it makes it tough. I will try to help you out this week and pick some of these cash games for you, and hopefully they do well. Some stats I'm looking for this week. Ball striking, which is a combo of total driving and greens in regulation. Par 3 and par 4 scoring. Scrambling, sand save percentage, and overall proximity. And like every week, I always look at strokes gained tee to green and strokes gained putting. So now let's move on to my favorite plays this week. Let's start up top, and it's a familiar name. I'm going back to the well once again. I'm going with Rickie Fowler at $10,600. He makes the list again for me this week. He's a defending champion here. And there was a little bit of a chatter about how poorly defending champs have done in their next time out, but I'm going to ignore it. It seems like a fluke to me. I'm not even going to pay attention to that. Even though he hasn't won yet this year, he has been close numerous times, Fowler has. He has 7 top 10s in 10 made cuts this year. He also hasn't finished worse than 25th in any tournament he's played this year. You know, stat-wise, he's great. He's one of the best tee to green players on the tour. He's actually the best par 4 scorer on tour. Elite scrambler, solid putter. I like his price. And you can roster him and still have plenty of cash left over to fill out a nice, solid team. Others to look at around this price range, I like Henrik Stenson. I like Sergio Garcia. And, you know, in all honesty, you can do a Fowler-Stenson, Fowler-Garcia team pretty easy with the pricing this week. Next up is going to be Matt Kuchar at 8,100. He's literally been one of the most consistent players on tour the last few years. Since 2010, Kuch has the most top 25s on tour, more than anyone else. He's made 11 of 12 cuts this year, 7 top 25s, and before his missed cut last year at Sawgrass, he had made 6 in a row with a win in 2012. Kuchar has a solid tee to green game, is a good scrambler, plays par 4 as well, and hits it close on approach shots. Another top 25 is likely for him, in my opinion, this week. Other guys in this price range that you might want to take a peek at, Zach Johnson. He's a course horse. He plays this course extremely well. It seems like it's suited to his game. Let's move on to my next pick. It's going to be Russell Knox at $7,600. He lives in Ponte Vedra, Florida, near the course and plays it often. You could tell he's comfortable with the course because he's made both of his cuts here with a high finish of 17th last year. He's been playing some of the best golf of his career with 7 top 27s and 9 made cuts, including a second place finish at the RBC Heritage a couple of weeks ago, which is another Pete Dye designed course just like Sawgrass. He also won at the WGC event in the fall. I think that the WGC win, I think that the WGC win can really help him this week. He knows he can compete with the big boys. This could help his confidence in this elite field. Stat-wise, he's spectacular. He's inside the top 25 in par 3 scoring, par 4 scoring, ball scrambling, ball striking, scrambling, and proximity. I like his chances to make the cut, and I actually think he can contend. Another guy at this price range that I like, Kevin Na. He plays well here. His game seems suited for this course. He's an accurate guy, so I like him as well. Let's move on to my final favorite play this week. It's going to be the Aussie, Mark Leishman. He's actually my #1 ranked golfer in my personal model when it comes to stats this week. I'll go over them all with you because it's pretty impressive. He's 21st in strokes gained tee to green, 9th in par 3 scoring, 5th in par 4 scoring, 36th in ball striking, 22nd in scrambling, 60th in sand save percentage, and 25th in overall proximity. Now, stats aren't everything. So looking at this year so far, he's had a solid year. He's made 8 of 11 cuts this year, never finishing outside the top 30 in any of these cuts made. He also has great course history at Sawgrass, making 4 consecutive cuts with 3 consecutive top 25 finishes, including a high finish of 8th in 2013. So, other guys, let's move on lower. Those are my 4 picks. So, Leishman, Knox, Kuchar, and Fowler. Those are my 4 favorite plays this week. But let's look at a couple of value plays under 7K. Probably my favorite is going to be Luke Donald. He plays the course well. He's been having a decent year. He's nowhere near the player he was when he was the #1 golfer, but he's doing solid. And if you want to go even a little bit lower, check out David Hearn at 6,100. He's made 4 of his last 6 cuts on tour, but in 3 of those cuts made, he finished in the top 20. He also has made all of his cuts at Sawgrass. So, that's it for me. Hopefully you win some cash this week. If you want to check out my other picks and my detailed course description, go to dfsondemand.com. Also, I give out my cash lineup every week. You can use it as a base to help you make your own, or you can just go ahead and copy and paste it. It'll be on dfscashlineups.com. And also check out all the other expert chats on slurv.com. A lot of good guys, a lot of knowledge goes into these chats, so check them out. All right, guys. It's Kenny from Slurv signing off. Good luck and win some money.